대학 시절에 본 할리우드 영화 가운데 뭔가 물불쾌함의 기억으로 남아있는 장면이 있다. 그때 절대악의 형성이 유럽 절반을 지배했던 몽골 징기스칸을 그대로 묘사한 것이다. 그러나 지금의 영화에서조차 동양에 대한 편견된 시각 아래 표현된 장면이라는 것에 실망감이 있었던 것이다.
Did you see the new trailer for The Devil Wears Prada 2? The internet is furious. Oh, maybe only in Asia.
Are you Andy?
Yes?
Hi, I'm Jin Chao. I'm your new assistant. You don't want me.
No, I didn't say that.
If you don't want me, you can interview someone else. That's totally fine. I did go to Yale, 3.86 GPA, lead soprano of the Whiff and Poofs, and my ACT score was 36 on the very first try, but...
No, you seem great. I'm happy to have you.
Great.
Okay, great. Okay.
Since the 15th century, East and West have been the two subjects of cultural phenomena. Such East-West dichotomy was articulated by Westerners in the scholarly tradition known as Orientalism.
In a 2023 column, Buddhist monk and writer Seungju wrote about the etymology of the word Orient, saying that its Latin roots are said to mean sunrise or the direction where the sun rises, pointing out that how the word Orient itself is an outside place, being the other in relation to us.
Hello, my name is Hana and I'm an exchange student in Korea.
Hi, I'm Leila. I'm a student here in South Korea, and we wanted to talk a little about Orientalism, especially connecting it to the Korean wave.
Edward Vadi Said was a Palestinian and American academic, political activist, and one of the founders of postcolonial studies, who is best known for his book Orientalism. As he defined, Orientalism is a style of thought based upon an ontological and epistemological distinction between the Orient and the Occident. During the age of exploration, Western countries not only gained political power but also controlled how Asian societies were represented. As he explains, the West positioned itself as modern, civilized, and advanced, while the East was often portrayed as exotic, underdeveloped, or something that needed to catch up to Western standards.
So basically, we can understand Orientalism as a stereotypical way that Asian cultures have been viewed and portrayed by the West.
Korea, like back in the period, like 10 years ago, it was not that well known in European countries. So whenever I introduce myself, they're like, so Korea north or south?
The only thing that I knew about Korea before coming, it would be like, oh, I know that there's two Koreas. One of them is the crazy one, the one where the crazy one lives. The other one is chill, I guess.
We must be good at math and science, you know? Like they assume that I would be really shy, like quiet, very disciplined, and academically intense.
According to Kim Bok-rae, as the West started to influence East Asia, the traditional regional Sino-centric order began to collapse. Countries struggled to adapt to modern international relations while holding on to older cultural ideas. Over time, though, East Asia became a region where tradition, modernity, and globalization all coexist. In this context, the Korean wave emerged as a symbol of cultural transformation and global cultural exchange. In the postmodern era, Korea transformed into a creator and exporter of culture.
Yeah, I think with the effect of K-dramas, like they still have this high expectation.
K 드라마 쪽으로 해서 이렇게 일반화시키는 거는 조금 무리가 있지 않나.
Because they only show a version of reality like that's been edited and polished and sometimes even idolized.
Yeah, I had like a very idealized picture in my head. And unfortunately, when I came here, it was kind of shattered, but rightfully so.
So during the 90s, the concept of self-Orientalism or self-othering started appearing among Asian scholars and post-colonial theorists, such as Ellen Chen and Koichi Iwabuchi. It describes how Asian societies sometimes reproduce or market stereotypical images of themselves through a Western lens. Self-Orientalism refers to the act of portraying the Orient from an Oriental viewpoint, employing Orientalist techniques and styles. Self-Orientalism is predominantly rooted in the act of representing the Orient in a stereotypied and cliched manner, hence viewing the Oriental and Orient as the other. The Korean wave has been put through that lens since it constantly makes entertainment content that make or reinforce stereotypes. For example, since 2020, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism has an annual government-supported program called K-Influencer Academy that trains foreign content creators to promote Korean culture online, especially through YouTube and social media, which helps promote an idealized perspective of the country, its people, and its culture. An article written by Jin Lee and Crystal Abedin in 2022 criticizes this kind of initiative, claiming that many campaigns and projects led by small government bodies are also heavily reliant on racial norms and stereotypes. It doesn't mean it is always necessarily bad, since it is, one way or another, a way to make that country seen, and it does increase interest in that country or the culture.
뭔가 새로운 문화, 새로운 나라를 경험하게 되면 이제 가장 먼저 맞닥뜨리는 게 사실 컬처적인 거잖아요. 뭐 드라마, 음악을 먼저 들어보고 그 다음에 마음에 드는데 음식 먹어보고 마음에 든다면 이제 그 나라에 가잖아요. 그렇다 보니까 이제 스테레오타입 아닌 스테레오타입 같은 게 있을 수밖에 없다고 생각을 합니다.
But yeah, it does create some interest, which was good. But yes, it also creates these expectations that I had to meet.
The New York Times article points out, as interest in South Korea grows, the number of tourist foreign residents and exchange students in the country has steadily increased over the past 4 years, according to government figures. Some arrivals say they were inspired by the life that its dramas and popular culture icons depict on social media. However, the situation gets more complicated when people actually come to Korea. Alongside this attractive image, there's a gap between how Korea is represented and how it is lived. Hallyu shows how powerful media images can shape perception and how those images can differ from everyday reality.
The more we dived into the subject, the more we realized how necessary it is to bring the Orientalism theme to the spotlight, because although it's probably more relevant than ever, considering how easily and quickly any content or information can be spread out, most articles on the theme are very outdated, and the new ones are paid and hard to access, especially for students. And it is important to talk about because if we look at the Korean wave, for example, the core issue is that in trying to make Korean culture globally appealing, institutions and media can end up simplifying or packaging Korea into curated stereotypes that fit those foreign expectations, promoting an idealized image of Korea.
When the society is constantly reduced to a single image, it becomes harder to see the diversity and complexity of real people's experiences. This topic is also important because Orientalism continues to evolve in the digital age. It is no longer only about seeing Eastern societies as inferior or exotic. It can also appear through admiration, aestheticization, and fantasy. Because these new forms often seem positive, they can be more difficult to recognize and question critically.